Yeah, it's a lot different to Jamaica, that's for sure.
All right, we are live in the flesh. Okay, welcome everybody. So David's already having a drink. It's a beautiful start. Welcome to the Ciaron Racing live stream on the eve of Caulfield Cup. We've got Tattersalls Sales to talk about. We've got a host of guests. Jamie Carr, who will ride Smoke and Romans. Harry Eustis, David's brother, live from the UK to get a bit of an update over there. And Rod Lyons. Not only is the owner of Nature Strip, but he's the owner of Ascension that lobbed at 50s yesterday. So we'll speak to Rod and find out how much he had on him after getting the inside word from the stable. But this is our panel. Ciaron, we were just looking at it. 6 years ago, it was Jamaica going into the Caulfield Cup as favourite. How does this year compare?
It's very similar, actually. Lots changed, but in terms of the horse, Jamaica won the Naturalism, what's now the Foundation Cup, and she was beaten in the Turnbull. And they got the same sort of feel about them. Jamaica was always going to be better at the 1.5 miles, and hopefully Smokey's the same. His form would suggest that, and so it's pretty exciting.
Very exciting. David, we had the barrier draw straight after 1,000 Guineas Day yesterday. I'm pretty happy with both draws.
Yeah, delighted. They asked us before the draw came out, what would you love to see Smokey come out of? And I said between 4 and 6. So we got that. And I think 12 for gold trips, ideal. It'll allow him to get a bit of room and work into the race at the right time. So, yeah, couldn't have asked for any more on that front.
Absolutely. Will Bourne, you've just had another quiet week up ready to run and caught some headlines up there as well.
Yeah, Ciaron was able to purchase a quality colt and got some great owners in him, and Aussie Kerr and the whole group. And Matt Becker obviously did a lot of work there, and he was a standout of the sale, and he was a record setter. So I think Ciaron and David are pretty lucky to train him by the sounds of it.
Well, you've been a jet-setting international man of mystery late. We've got plenty to talk to you about as we get into this. But we do want your questions. We've got prizes to give away for the best. Tell you what's gone up in value since we've made these. Coolangatta trading cards. Group 1 winner now, Moya Stakes. So we've got a few of those to give out. Ciaron Racing beanies. Unfortunately, we still need them at this stage of spring, so they'll come in handy. So keep the questions coming in via the comments. But our first guest, as I mentioned, is Rod Lyons, who not only the owner of Nature Strip, who's gone to the UK himself, just working out the camera angles there, Rod, but also a very happy owner of Ascension. Rod, how much did you have on it?
Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Can you see me?
We can see you.
How's that? That's a bit better.
That's beautiful.
Good looking bloke.
Good looking bloke indeed. Rod, how much did you have on Ascension yesterday at 50?
Oh, well, I was all set to unload, and I got a phone call from David. He said, one more start, needs the run, don't back it. So, anyway, it was a good win. It was terrific. It was good to see him, to run up to what we had. Oh, don't show me that, dude.
We can just help you relive it here. It was a really good win. And it was a £100,000 purchase at last year's Tattersalls Autumn Horses in training sale. Wilbur, quite a shrewd purchase, fair to say.
A lot of help from David there. His ex-boss gave him a real push, and David rang around with the horses we liked. He was one on our list. David called him a few favours, and he gave us a real nudge to buy that horse. So to get a couple of good owners, and it was great. I think Rod muscled his way and made a merge in colours with the Irish Shamrock with Noel Greenhall. But I think Noel's in the slot holder for a Nature Strip, I believe. So they've had a lot of success together, and these colours look like they've kicked off to a good start.
No, you're right. No, Noel's a terrific bloke. My dad was Irish. My Patrick's Irish. Peter Coon's in the horses Irish. So we're all Irish, and it was great to see. Those boys actually backed it. They had something on it because they went down to Watson's Bay, and I ended up at I get my head in the camera. You can't. And they all went down to Watson's Bay, and I lobbed in Sydney about 3 o'clock, so I missed them. So they all had something on it. So it was but it's a beautiful action, that horse, and he looked terrific. And we might have missed this start, but maybe we can win next start or the start after. I understand racing. I understand you win, you lose. That's life,
Rod, what was the appeal to you in going over to Tats and getting one of those ready to runs from the bottom start?
Oh, Ciaron, he got me half pissed one. Oh, sorry, he got me on a couple of drinks and said, you got to get into this horse. I like those. I mean, I think that their history's there, Like, I think those horses definitely seem to be better than ours. You get a 2,000 metre plus horse, they're better than ours. I've got to get this back in there. What's happened here? I can't work out.
That's all right. Well, that's all right. We're rolling with it. And Wilbur, obviously, as he said, got a bit of help from David's old boss with that one. But you've been spending a bit of time over in Europe this year and pretty keen to get stuck into this year's sale as well.
Yeah, already looking at the upcoming sale. The catalogue's out, doing a lot of replays, doing the form, but more importantly, excited to go over there and see these horses in the flesh. You get a quick idea and a good idea what they're like. Even in recent times, our recent purchases this year, Ciaron was over in Europe and, a horse like Light Infantry, he physically inspected the horse and, he's a lot of money, but that was the nudge that we needed to go ahead with the horse. And so far it's worked out.
Absolutely. We'll touch on Light Infantry later. Rod, while we've got you though, of course, you were in the UK yourself earlier this year to see Nature Strip conquer the world. How's your boy going into the Everest? Give the punters a little push if you can.
Oh, well, fingers crossed. Tough race. Drawing the outside barrier. He's a good horse. He's going terrific. They're confident. They're happy. Chris is happy. James is happy. Fingers crossed. I think whatever beats him will win.
Any more cliches there, Rod?
Beg your pardon?
I said, any more cliches?
Well, got a couple. Can't Willie boy. What are you going to do? Going on modelling magazine soon, or what? What's your story?
I'm hoping they accept me soon. I keep putting the photo shoots in the mail, but get nothing back.
Come on, mate. I'll tell you what. I know your dad. I know you. I'll tell you, it won't be long before you'll be on the front page of Vogue.
That's the plan.
Rod, thank you so much for that. Good luck.
I tell you what, Ciaron, you got no hope of making front page of Vogue, all right?
I know I've got no hope, Rod, but I'll be going and getting another bottle of whiskey because Will's going overseas to buy a few more horses, so we might have to have a couple more drinks.
Hey, Rod, good luck on Saturday. Look, we may have just lost Rod there.
Yep.
Always an entertaining chat with Rod, who'd been out at lunch all day, and we do thank him for taking the time. We will have Harry Eustis joining us shortly, but before we do, Will, I just want to touch on a couple more of those international purchases that we spoke about. Light Infantry will be on the plane tonight, potentially. And then another interesting one that we've got a replay here for is Quarantine Dreams.
Yeah, he's a quality horse we purchased in partnership with Australian Bloodstock. We've had a lot of luck with them. Herman Hess, Mankind, Mayfair Spirit. This horse is quality. 9 of his 11 race starts have been in group or black type, or the equivalent. So he's a serious enough horse, and I think you should be able to come down here and you're running for a good amount of money. And Ciaron and David had a lot of success in the way they train these horses, and we're both of the belief that he fits that bill.
Very exciting indeed. We seem to have lost David there for a second. We've got a couple of questions coming through from the audience, though. Sean Stowe said, what's the rationale behind sending Spotstat to Sydney rather than the Manikato? Ciaron, you want to take that one?
Yeah, she's still coming on. It's a Group 3. It's probably arguably a little bit softer. She's shown she likes big tracks in the past. So there's $2 million reasons why. She does handle soft tracks, and that looks like what we're going to get in Sydney. She's raced well there before, so there's quite a few boxes to tick. She unfortunately has drawn the visitors' draw, so hopefully they're getting wide out off the track.
All right, very nice there, Sean. You can have a beanie for that. All right, we've got some coming through via Facebook and YouTube as well. Jordan Rufford Sharp has said, "What's the go-to beverage when smoking Roman salutes?" Sounds confident there, Jordan.
We'll take anything.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be too fussy at that stage.
Nice
Yeah.
New Zealand
What's
Pinot.
that what's the gambler? I think you don't count your money or something like that. The gambler. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that is very true. Matty Shoulders, though, his strapper has just chimed in on Facebook and said champagne. So that answers that. And guess what? We've got a second Eustis ready to go. Is there? Harry, coming to us live from Tattersalls Sales. Welcome.
Hi, morning, evening.
Have you brought anything, Harry?
I have actually. I bought
Don't be trying to sell shares here.
Well, it's funny you say that because I hadn't told Mum and Dad, and then we had a work morning this morning, and one of the jockeys had spotted that I had bought something, so I had to tell him there and then.
Oh boy!
Went down. Yeah. As my brother will know.
Would have been a frosty breakfast this morning.
It was easy to come to the sales.
Very good. And Harry, just a quiet start to your solid career, just a Royal Ascot win and just knocking him over there.
Yeah, everyone's asked me how my year's gone, and at the start of the year you told me we'd had a Royal Ascot winner. I probably wouldn't have believed you. So it's been a fantastic start, and just trying to do better next year. That's the main thing.
I did promise I'd have one nice question to get you on, but I'll let Will and David go for you.
Oh, bless.
How long did your Royal Ascot winner stay in the stable after it won?
Well, the plan had always been to sell him in July, and he won in June, so he was with us about 2 weeks. Then he went up to Tats. That had always been the plan. Hunting around for an owner to keep him in the yard, but he ended up going to Hong Kong. So we wish him the best of luck with him out there.
Yeah.
Is it a little bit annoying? Is it a little bit annoying that no one calls you Harry? They call you Dave's brother, or is that you just used to that?
No, we're both James's sons.
That's right.
Over the top.
Yeah, we know the hierarchy still.
More gay sons.
Correct.
Sorry, what, Dave?
I said we're more gay sons and James's sons. She's the matriarch.
Well, they enjoyed their time out here. It is fitting you come to us from Tattersalls, Harry, as we are talking order of horses in training. So can you guide us into anything that might be appearing up there or anything you've got your eye on we might go head to head on?
The yearling sales, yeah. I mean, we actually sell a couple that would suit us, and I did actually try and get you boys to buy him before he won, but he's won since, so he'll appeal down there. I think the one thing I think that is changing actually is the sort of 80 rated handicappers are interesting to a level, but actually it proves that the high class of animal you buy, the better value you're buying probably. And actually, if you just go after the ones with the best form, they'll repay you the best. It's probably what I think sort of seems to be happening anyway. I don't know how you guys feel on that.
Will, do we have a little bit of a target on our back over there now as Australians?
Oh, they definitely. I think for a few years now they've seen all Australians coming. But in saying that, we keep buying them and they keep producing down here. So I think it's just good business overall.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a target. I'd say it's the opposite, actually. They were delighted to see you there because, it's well documented, but well, certainly for me, it's a massive part of the business now is purchasing and trading horses. And, the year you guys don't turn up will be a big dent for everyone because, you make your mark felt. And as Will said, it works. So let's just keep doing it, please.
How strong have you found the yearling sales?
Unbelievable, especially with what's been going on, up here in Europe and the UK in particular. It's all doom and gloom, and you're listening to it on the radio on the way to the sales, and then, I mean, every I think nearly every sale apart from book 2 now, like, it's been the best sale ever. Median at Goffs and Arden was up 30%, which is just extraordinary. So there's been a huge appetite for yearlings, and trying to buy them has been incredibly tough. Yeah.
Harry, you're getting a couple of questions coming through from the audience, so you're obviously very popular. First one, out of this year's imports for the Melbourne Cup, does he have any that he thinks we should follow?
Ooh.
Can you name any of them?
On the spot.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, it looks pretty wet down there, and El Bodygon loves the wet, and he's quite a good horse. You know, he probably both James Ferg's horses probably bring the best level of form, but he's not an overly big horse, but very tough, very consistent, and loves soft ground, and if it came up wet, he'd probably be the one for me.
Very good. And is there a horse from Ciaron and James' other son that you would want to train? That's how you're being referred to now, Dave. Just
that I would like to train. Coolangatta. That would do. Yeah.
Well, hopefully, Harry, we can bring her up there for Royal Ascot one day, and you can get your hands on her.
That'd be fun. Yeah, you'd let me offside or something, would you? You've been very quiet, Ciaron.
Oh, just on a side note, Harry, I was just wondering how the girls are treating her up there, because Dave's absolutely doing no good down here. So I was wondering if you could give me a few pointers if you're going right yourself.
Well, he takes after me currently, so I'd say similar to the yearling division, very hard buying, and currently leaving with something that we could afford, but maybe he didn't want.
So you're waiting until book 3.
we might raise like flag there and just wait for the horse. Tried and tested.
Nothing's changed there then.
No. I can't help you.
Thank you for joining us, mate. We had James and Gay out here for a couple of months, so we're looking forward to hosting you out here at some point soon as well.
Yeah, we're hopefully coming in January, so that's the plan at the moment.
All right, excellent.
So
We're going to do some feeding too. You're still looking a bit light.
No. Sale season, you never do.
Very good. Thanks, Harry. That's coming in live from the Tattersalls yearling sale over there. Speaking of tats, we've just dropped the link if you do want to sign up to our Tattersalls Autumn Horses in Training sale on Facebook and YouTube. Sign up. You can put in your price range, and we'll let you know what we buy when we buy it. Before we sign off on that topic, though, Will, is there anything else the viewers out there should know leading into this? Obviously, our track record is excellent. Turn on the Charm recently, Ascension recently, Floating Artist last year, Mankind, the list goes on. Is there any sort of slightly different angle we'll be looking at this year, or just looking for those, ready-made horses that we can bring through the grades for good prize money?
No, we'll definitely be having a crack, and we're trying to target the more quality horses. But one thing I would say is throughout the year, it's just not this time of year. Ciaron and David are always looking for horses to buy. So always just check out our emails that we send out on our website, because no matter what time of year it is, Ciaron and David are looking for these horses, and they're hitting the targets when they're buying them. So obviously this has a lot of quantity and quality in this sale because it suits the racing season. But overall, we're always looking for horses and very proactive about it. So that's one I will say is always be on the watch if you're interested.
Absolutely. And then I guess the other side of that is when they get out here, guys. I know we've spoken about it before, but for those that variety of training locations, what else sort of allows them to come out here and succeed, Ciaron?
Well, I think a lot of them, they're ready-made racehorses. You know exactly what you're buying. They're vetted. Usually Dave's got and Will have got a very good handle or inside knowledge on sort of the horses and how they are, how their temperaments are. So you're buying horses, you pay a bit extra for them, but they're coming out and they're competing for, 130, 150 sort of midweek at least. but they're ready-made Saturday horses. And if they are a little bit lower rated, usually there's a few more wins in them. So they're a lot of fun, and they usually hit the ground pretty quick.
Absolutely, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing from my point of view is probably, what I found when I first came out here, and is that the training itself is so different, and the horses from home just thrive on that. They're used to being trained pretty sort of monotonously. It's the same thing every day for a number of years, and they're able to then go to the beach, come in from the beach, train on a track which they've never done before either. So it's a sort of stimulation that they get from coming out here, and they talk about, bless you, horses getting sort of speed sort of trained into their legs here. I don't think it's necessarily that. They get invigorated, and we just see it time and time and again. These horses come over and actually they look a bit dull and they look a bit flat, and the change of scenery is just massive.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, there's plenty of questions coming through, so we might get through a few of these before we get into the Caulfield Cup preview. So if you've got any questions about the Cup itself or upcoming races, get them in as well. We need to answer Jordan Stocks here. I promise he's not related to me, but he's asked about 7 different questions about Signers Express. So, David, you saw him going around. Come on, give the crowd what they want.
Yeah, the people's horse, bloody hell. Look, he's well. He goes into the race in good form, and he's put in 2 really good runs this prep, and is going to get his conditions at Caulfield. So you'd like to think he's got a great each way chance.
Absolutely. All right, what else have we got here? How's interpretation shaping up for the Geelong Cup, Ciaron? I'll let you answer that. Probably left one in the chamber last start.
Yeah, he's a real proper stayer, proper 2-miler. So hopefully he can get his ticket through the Geelong Cup as a plan. He's top of the ground horse. He needs to build into his races from a fair way out. As I said, he's a very strong stayer, and I think he's improved with each run he's had since coming over, and I think he'll improve again. So he's one to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we'll be sending 2 there with high emotion likely to go as well. Here's a good one. Lavish Girl will be running around in Seymour Bloodstock colours in the Silver Eagle on Saturday. What chances do we give her? Obviously, we would have preferred last week's draw when she was in 2. Now goes out to 15 in a pretty hot race.
Yeah, what a difference 7 days can make. 2 to 15, God. She was a really good first up run. She's thrived up there. She's done everything right. Obviously, she's lobbing into a fairly hot race, but she's just furnished a lot from last prep. She's a lot stronger, and her first run back was very good. I think she's still very much on the up, but she makes her own luck. She goes forward in races, and she doesn't want it too wet. So I think hopefully conditions not too bad up there on the weekend.
All right, hoping Lavish Girl. She's been backed early as well, $18 into $12. So she's certainly getting some support despite the wide barrier. This is a good one. Get your pens out, people. Jade Stewart has asked, Jade, you've got a CML Beanie for this one. Any promising 2-year-olds in the stable to look out for? Now, I might actually preface this with, normally by this time of year, there's only been a few 2-year-old races, but in the last few years, we've had runners in the gym crack and the breeders, etc. We haven't this year. Is that a considered decision, Ciaron? And then give us a couple of hot 2-year-olds that could be coming through.
No, it's not. Those early races, the horses are got to be very, very natural, and we've been really fortunate the last couple of years to have a couple of fillies that have been very natural, and they've gone up there and won the gym crack. So we've got a host of nice horses, and a couple to watch for. We've got a couple of nice justifiers. So we'll just keep an eye on them. We've got one probably going to the trials next week. And we've got another horse called it's out of Walk with Attitude that goes pretty well as well.
Has the Ferrari gone off yet? What are the rules on the? Where does the Ferrari go to for the first Justify? What is it? First group win or?
Group one winner.
The Ferrari. I'm pretty sure. Will, you would know the ins and outs of this, but I'm pretty sure you got to be a Group 1 winner as a 2-year-old to be with a Justify to get a Ferrari, and I think the purchaser. So hopefully we can get the keys to one of those.
What about the Jamaica here?
Jamaica. It's a nice horse. Not early, and the Jamaica never started till December, and I think her second foal will be pretty similar. She probably won't see it to maybe December or early autumn, but nice horse, and hopefully it's half as good as her.
I might throw to Will for this one. He's got his own interest. Bella Nipotina, how's she going into the Manikato?
Yeah, well, ask Ciaron and Dave. They're training her, but by reports, great. Yeah, she's obviously in great form. She clearly put the writing on the wall last start. It was the run of the race in the Group 1, and I think you'd be a bit flat if we didn't win the race. So if you actually look at it, she did all the work, and the only thing that made ground really in the whole race. The form out of it that's run behind her has come out and won. So I think she's in sort of career best form, and from my point of view, she's going great. But that's a bit Ciaron and David.
How many do you reckon we could be sending to the Manikato next Friday night, Ciaron?
Possibly the same amount, maybe 3. Depends what generation, how the track is, whether he runs this Saturday or not. He's an option. Coolangatta's an option, and Bella Nippo Craig sat on her the other morning and was pretty pleased with her, so she'll line up as well. So they weren't far away of getting the trifecta the other day. So we'll see how we go.
Absolutely. Just a couple more coming through here. This is a question for Will. What's happening with Biscayne Bay?
She's got a 14-day positive to I'm Invincible.
Oh, that's exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah, Ciaron wants to put her back into work in about 20 days.
I seen her the other day, and she's very happy up there at Yarramie.
Good. All right. Now, here's an interesting one because this was an absolutely sickening watch in the Metropolitan. How is La Don de Vie settling back into Victoria? That's from Martin Parsons. Martin,
he's the most diligent person we have at Warwick Farm. La Don de Vie settled in very well. He's on the beach. He spent most of his time up there at Bob's farm on the beach, and he's moved to Balnarring Beach. So he likes to get a bit of time in the water. He's a very fit horse. He'll have to do a lot. He'll probably have a jump out before the Melbourne Cup, but he'll go straight in. And if the rain keeps going, he'll certainly thrive.
All right, Jamie Carr will be joining us shortly to go a little bit more in depth, but let's talk Caulfield Cup now because we've got 2 runners, both very much in the market. A tale of 2 different horses, obviously. Gold Trip, purchased last year, couldn't run in the Cox Plate. It's been a long road back to the races, but he seems to be looking ready to peak. And then Smokin' Romans, the humble South Island Kiwi who was bought for 55 grand, has upstaged him the last 2 races. What's your inkling going into Saturday? Ciaron, I'll start with you.
I'm very happy with both horses. Smoking Romans in particular, I just think with the weight and it's going to be, some kind of testing track. I think he's still improving. Arguably 2400 is his best trip. And, yeah, I just think, with the weight, his racing style, he's got to be a huge chance. And similar with Gold Trip, he too, his best trip is probably 1.5 miles. He loves a bit of a rain-affected track, and he's certainly going to get that. He does have a bit of weight, but his class is going to take him a long way. Like, he's finished 4th in an arc, against some of the world's best horses. So, this certainly wouldn't be as strong as an arc. So, his class is going to come to the fore as well.
All right, very diplomatic response there. Dave, I'll put you on the spot. Who have you got winning?
Well, you would think that with the weights, Rome's has got the edge. He's got a beautiful draw. He's put the writing on the wall in the Turnbull and drops right down in weight. So I think you'd have to lean towards Smokey, and obviously the market suggests that as well.
Will, who do you reckon the sort of biggest threats are outside our turn?
If you get a very similar track to Wednesday and the rain comes and it's that heavy, Numerium won a stakes race beating Sir Dragonet on a heavy in Ireland. Obviously, great form race and showed a bit of class there. I think if it gets heavy like that, he won that race over 2400. It's the same distance. If it gets choppy like that, you could see him really running into the race. So, just from a form point of view, that horse would scare me a lot if the track really chopped up.
She had a pretty unlucky 24 hours, Annabelle, obviously with Top Ranked and then Economics spinning himself around yesterday. All right, Jamie's still not here, so we'll just kick on with a couple more questions and then we'll get your best bets for the weekend before we head off. So if you do have any more questions, get them in. Now, this is a really important one. When is Greece running next? Obviously, the stables plans were decimated with the early arrival of the rain yesterday. A lot of scratchings. Greece probably the headline runner there. Ciaron, where does she go next?
We'll have a look at the Valley for her 1,200-metre stakes race there. The William Crockett, or there's the Red Anchor against the boys. I was hoping to run her yesterday, and then depending on how she went, race down the straight at Flemington on Derby Day might have been an option. But one step at a time. It's pretty obvious she doesn't like the rain, so she's not too happy at the moment.
Another horse who definitely doesn't like the rain, but is in really good form at the moment is Herman Hess. Dave, got any plans for him yet? Obviously, the weather around is just not ideal for him at the moment, but any thoughts on where he might be able to go, or just waiting for a drying track? Because he is in form.
Yeah, absolutely. Frustrating time for everyone in his ownership group and us, obviously. He's been in great form. His last 2 starts, scratched yesterday. He'll be in everywhere from Geelong, Bendigo, the Hotham, Moonee Valley Cup, and just hope for a dry track. There's plenty of really good staying races still over the next few weeks. So we just pray for a dry track and he'll be ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely. All right, back to the Caulfield Cup. It is time to welcome in Jamie Carr, who will be getting the ride on Smoking Romans. Welcome, Jamie. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Very good indeed. How are you feeling? You've just hopped on the favourite after a bit of good fortune, but how much do you know about him and how excited are you?
Yeah, very excited. Obviously, we won the Pakenham Cup last year. That was a great return for me. And this horse is just in career best form. He's just absolutely flying. So I think I've got on at the right time.
You certainly have. Ciaron?
Jamie galloped him on Tuesday, and from what I've seen, she worked with Gold Trip, and they went over the line together, but Smokey, I just said to Jamie earlier today, it looked like he was pulling her out of the saddle. So it certainly looked good to the eye. And yeah, Jamie, you were pretty happy with the way he spelled as well.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best pieces of work I've done on him. I've galloped him plenty of times. He felt like he had plenty on the line, and the time suggested that it was a really nice piece of work.
I will ask, when you won the Pakenham Cup home, did you think you'd be back here as favourite in a Caulfield Cup?
No, definitely not. Obviously, it was a good win, and he's a beautiful horse, but definitely didn't think we'd be here where we were. And like, look, he's been proving himself that he's warranting himself to be favourite for the Caulfield Cup. He's been absolutely flying, and yeah, just very excited to be here and be able to ride the weight. And didn't think I'd be riding this weight this time last year, that's for sure.
Ciaron, has he surprised you?
He has really. Just I suppose he's had a really smooth campaign, and the sort of just been backing off him, sort of waiting to step out to a trip, and he keeps well, he's won his last two, but we were sort of early in the prep, we were aiming him towards the Bart Cummings and aiming him to having peak on that day to get a ticket into the Melbourne Cup. But obviously he hit form in the Naturalism or the Foundation Cup and carried that on. So yeah, he's been amazing what he's done, and like Jamie said, he's bouncing around like a 2-year-old and just feels really well. So a bit like Jamie, she's been winning on everything that she sits on really. So hopefully the two can combine on Saturday.
Well, speaking of that, let's just rewind a couple of Friday nights ago for the Group 1 Moya, where Coolangatta, geez, she was brave here. Jamie, just talk us through this ride. Did you think you'd sort of get to the front as comfortably as you did?
No, look, the plan was probably just to be positive, but I definitely didn't think I'd be able to lead up those sorts of horses, the Zoo Styles and the Rossfires. They are very quick horses, and she just put herself in front in 2 strides out the gate, so I wasn't going to hand up the lead anytime soon. And she was very, very tough. She had Bella Nicotina breathing down her backside, and she's a pretty tough horse to like she can run down anything. She's been flying, and she's a nice horse. And when I felt her coming up to me, I thought we might be in trouble, but she kicked and she found another length. She was super.
Beautiful. Ciaron, where does she go?
I was just going to ask Jamie, do you think we can beat him again at 1200?
Well, like you said, there's nothing she can't do. That trial the other day at Cranbourne was fantastic. I think it was probably better than before I trialled her this time in. And she's just proving she's holding her condition, like you said. She's looking fantastic, so why not?
Will, you weren't there on Moya night. You were celebrating Butch, your dad's birthday, but will you and your mum and family be there the next time she goes around?
I think you'll struggle to keep mum away. Yes, she somehow made dad's birthday all about her winning a Group 1. So instead of there next time she goes around.
If you want to make yourself son of the year, just gift your mum. Just been slogging it in the healthcare services. Just gift her a Group 1 winner, a Match of Millions winner, and that should do the job. Brownie points for the next couple of years at least, Will.
I hope I'm still on the wheel anyway. I think I should be. Jamie, you obviously rode Gold Trip last start. Have you got any fear there?
Well, it was a massive run. It was a terrible ride. I think he's feeling fantastic. He didn't mind the firm ground, and he's going to get a softer track this weekend. So he's obviously going to improve. But I just can't see anything getting past Smokey at the moment. I think he ran a massive race, but it's just with the weight difference, he's going to be very hard to get past.
with your Jamie, with your week, obviously having to do 51.5, what does it look like for you? Have you got is it a big struggle, or you can
I'm
good
having
on you?
It's got
Gin
green stuff.
Gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic.
Okay, so you're okay.
I walk around 51.5, 52 most days, so I'll be able to have breakfast on Saturday, I think. And like Coolangatta was just 1.5 kilos for me, which it doesn't sound like much, but when you're at that bottom weight scale, it does take a bit to come off. But Smokey will be fine this weekend. I'll have some breakfast and a coffee and it'll be ready to go.
Sensational. That's the confidence we like. Jamie, thanks so much for that. We really appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, we'll be cheering you home on Saturday. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie.
Great stuff there from Jamie. A nice, honest response given her last one. I thought she might have been a bit harsh on herself on Right on Gold Tree. No, Will's.
That was a pretty honest assessment, I thought.
It wasn't very honest assessment, Jamie. We
don't get that very often.
No, we don't. All right, we're going to get through a couple more questions. Then we're going to do best bets for the weekend, and we are out of here. All right. Kevin Elms via YouTube said, what do you think of Unanimous's chances on the weekend? Kevin, you can have a beanie.
Ciaron, David?
Anyone?
Well, I think Unanimous is in great form. Obviously, he won the other day. The form out of his race is very good. It was franked on Wednesday. And, he's going into a pretty slick race. If he can begin and get out of the gates, he can be traditionally a bit of a slow starter, but he hits the line very hard. And the track can be testing up there. It'll be interesting to see how it is, because even if it's drying, it's had a lot of racing and it's been very, very wet, and it's very testing, and fitness won't be a worry at all for him. And he'll certainly be hitting the line very hard. It just hopefully he's within range when he straightens up.
All right, very good. Here's another one from Jordan Rufford Sharp, but it is a good one. I want to go to with Will, because the backstory to this horse is really interesting. He said, does Light Infantry just have the one start this prep in the spring, the Golden Eagle? And tell us a little bit about the backstory on this, Will, because there's nothing like this happening at the moment.
Yeah, so he'll just have the one start in Australia. The Golden Eagle hopefully pay for the horse pretty much his purchase price and more. But he was a horse that obviously was, an elite 3-year-old over there, and he was in that sort of range where a really high-priced Hong Kong offer, or even so much a stud offer, would approach the stable, and potentially they could lose the horse. So it was a bit of a creative deal, and credit to Ciaron and David Simcock to put it together and combine and to buy half the horse and to share the horse, to have one run here and then go back for Royal Ascot and have 2 runs over there before returning to Ciaron. So he's horses like that. He's just an elite horse around the world. They're very, very hard to come by. So I think both David and Ciaron recognise that, and for Ciaron to acquire the horse and for David to keep the horse, they were happy to come to an agreement, and I think it's been very admirable. And I think success should continue that.
Absolutely. Confidence going into the Golden Eagle?
Yeah, all reports, James Spencer wrote him they took him to the July course to have a proper hit out, given it was be so long in between runs. So he was very fit and well and gave him a great feel. So he'll fly out tomorrow. He'll land Saturday afternoon. I'm sure Ciaron can't wait to see the horse again, since he saw him over in Europe, and top him off to go into the Golden Eagle.
All right, we're getting a couple more questions. So a couple around Matron Bullwinkle going into the run in Geelong. Ciaron, you want to handle that one?
The Bullwinkle. I think they made a statue of Matron Bullwinkle there the other day. I think it was revealed, or it was named by Jo Mills Nolte. I think she refers to herself. No, they're great mates, and I think Bullwinkle's taken a while to come up. She is. She looks particularly well. Her first trial was far from inspiring, but she's really come on. And yeah, if she takes her place, I think she'll definitely improve out of the run. But yeah, I think she'll be reasonably hard to beat.
Otherwise, you'll be getting a call from Marty Mills. Just a question. Hitotsu is back. Shane Dyde wants to know, David, how's he going? You've got him up there at Ballarat. Very exciting to have some.
Yeah, he's back in work, and touchwood, his injury that he sustained doesn't reoccur. Everything's going to plan, so he's about a sort of couple of weeks off getting a saddle back on his back. He's done a lot of treadmill work, a lot of ground work down with Lee Everson. He's done a great job with him. So hopefully we get a nice smooth run and we can focus on the autumn and races like the Australia Cup, the Tancred, and the QE2 if everything goes to plan.
Absolutely. All right. I think that's it for the questions, guys. Thank you very much for sending them all through. If you've got any more, you can just send them through. We will try and respond at a later date. But now it is time to get the best for Saturday. Your best bets. Dave, you can kick things off.
I'm definitely not going to say Smoking Romans.
Thank you. It was really
I daren't put the Moz on him, but I actually do think your horse Mikey at a big price each way is worth a bet. He is going to get his conditions. He gets through a heavy 10. He's got a good gait. Harry Coffey knows how to win on him, so I thought he'd opened up pretty big odds in a competitive race. And I'll go with Zenus Express each way.
Thank you for that kiss of death. If he runs fourth, great call. You hate mail to David Eustis. Wilbur, what's your best for Saturday?
I thought she was big odds. David and Ciaron might correct me, but Pride of Jenny back to Caulfield where she won last start. She's had one start on the heavy for a win. I thought she half missed the kick the other day and then had to work forward, and it's sort of out of a racing pattern where she's been successful. So she jumps from a wide barrier, but to have Jamie Carr on board, I think it's very advantageous. I think her biggest strength as a jockey is her coming out of the barrier so clean and being able to put him in a forward position. So I think if it's heavy and she gets a clean break, I think she was sort of big odds at 8-1.
Certainly very happy to hear you say that.
Good shot.
Ciaron.
I'm itching to say one of the horses in the cup. Absolutely itching to say it. But I'm going to refrain. And I'm going to go with Cadre de Noir.
Martin Parsons is great.
Yeah, Martin Parsons will be very happy with that.
He's absolutely backed off the mat. We did his pre-race report this afternoon. As we were recording it, he went from $2.60 to $1.90 without a scratching. So,
I think in J Mac's last 300 rides, that's the only poor ride he's put in, isn't it?
Correct.
The Boise owners might have something to say about that, but that's all right. 2 out of 300 is not bad. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for that. We'll, of course, be out there on Saturday. Do remember, sign up for the tap sale. The details are all on the website or in the comments because we will be active and we will be bringing home winners again. So there's a special treat for the listeners. I'm going to drop it in the chat now. If you want to join us at the official Ciaron Racing after party at the Osborne, where Simon and the team there do a fantastic job. We've got a few spots left. It's $25, but all money goes to rural prostate. And we will be, buses will be leaving from Caulfield to go there, and that's where the party will kick on. So I'm just posting the Eventbrite link in there. It's limited spots available. And I'll tell you what, if we win a Caulfield Cup, that's where you'll want to be. Gentlemen, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right. Thanks, Mikey.
See you
See you
guys.